Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 107. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz, and the Brooklyn Nets crush the Philadelphia 76ers. They take their soul and they get a monster win in Philadelphia. We'll talk about that. The New York Knicks on a 3-game winning streak as they head into Memphis to play the Grizzlies on Friday night. Knicks looking to get 4 in a row. Nets and Knicks will play each other on Sunday, which has become a more interesting game. Alex, the Nets tonight just absolutely beat the shit out of the Philadelphia 76ers. They came in, they took their soul. James Harden was trash. He was awful. Durant early, Irving early, and everything clicked for the Nets. They were up 40-23 at the end of the first quarter, never looked back. And for the Nets and for the Nets fans, a monster game for them. One the NBA will take note of, one the league will look around and take note of, and a big win for the Nets, who really just shut the fuck up for everybody and needed to get this one. And I will always ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. You want to just keep going, man? Just do the whole show.
Well,
and just
no, I
thing,
want
man.
you.
You're excited.
I want you here. It was a good win for the Nets. It was a big regular season win for the Nets. They needed this. I mean, they really did. They got big efforts. I mean, we don't talk about Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. Seth Curry came in tonight with a little bit of an edge. Not talked about. The whole thing was Ben Simmons coming in there, and the narrative stopped because Harden was bad. Let's be real. Let's start with this. Harden in big games is bad. James Harden was 3 for 17, which is the same as the Nets record for the previous 20 games before this 2-game winning streak. He was
looking
bad.
for fouls, diving for fouls.
It was just bad him. And I got to give a real shout out here. And I tweeted this, like Kyrie Irving guarded him really well. He defended. He didn't get mixed up in any of the bullshit. He guarded him. He scored, and he was fantastic. And for the Nets, it was a game they needed. It was a game their fans needed. And it was something just to resurge the idea of confidence with this fan base, that this team can go ahead and win a championship and that it can go ahead and do these kind of things, because the last couple of months have been awful. If you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, let's be real. The last couple of weeks and months have just been fucking dreadful. And it was just so nice to go in and just go to Philly and shut them up and beat the shit out of them. And it was wire to wire. It was the best regular season win I've seen from this team in a long damn time. Yeah, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of this unit. No more of the bullshit. They just came in and said, we're going to fuck you up. And here we are. And does it mean anything in the long run of championships and playoffs and where they go? No, they got a lot of work to do. But it just reassured the idea that if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are on the court together, all of a sudden, like, James Johnson's not your star. He's the 10th man. Patty Mills isn't your star. And you can go out and you can win games. And the big wild card, Alex, is that Ben Simmons isn't there. And what is he for this team? I don't know the answer to that. Ryan Hickey said, you trade Kyrie Irving for Ben Simmons. Ryan Hickey was wrong. You trade James Harden for Ben Simmons, and you have a more complete team. I don't know what to expect from him, but I feel very validated. And I'm not like smiling in a good mood, but I kind of have like I just had a bad fart in a good mood. Like, smell this, because we're here.
You're like Peter Griffin putting Meg's face on his ass and farting in Meg's face.
Yeah, man. I'm just so sick of all of it. Like, it just had to go in and was just like, yes, Patty Mills is now the 9th guy. Goran Dragic is coming in, giving them stability. The defense from Bruce Brown. They didn't fuck around tonight, and the Sixers look terrible.
Yeah, listen, like usually, regular season games don't signify anything, but this was a statement game by the Nets. It put Philly in their place, and mentally it made the Nets feel like, okay, all that, they'll be fine if they get it right phrase actually felt like it meant something tonight. You're like, holy shit, look at this team. all them playing together and playing hard, and Durant and Kyrie clicking, and they had a little edge to them, and they punched him in the mouth, and the Sixers just folded. And usually, they always, all the like NBA haters are always saying things like, "Oh, it's all about the last 2 minutes. It's the last 2 minutes." You didn't even watch the last 2 minutes because this game was over in the first quarter. Like it was a wrap. And I thought the Sixers would come back just because of the NBA, and Harden I thought would get hot, and Embiid did everything he could. They couldn't stop Embiid. But if nobody else is hitting any shots, then it's 1-on-5. And it doesn't mean the Nets are going to win a title now. Doesn't mean that they'd even beat Philly in a series. It doesn't mean anything, but it was a big mental game for the Nets to win this one and put Philly in their place a little bit. Give Simmons a little bit of confidence. Maybe now he can come back, with his fake store back. I mean, I don't want to say fake, but come on. And, let him now come on back, man. And then if the vaccine gets lifted, mandate gets lifted, and now the Nets are cruising,
Let's be honest, Alex, like James Harden pissed Net fans off. And I understand that 76ers fans have every right to be mad at Ben Simmons. And for them, they wanted to go out here and show their remorse, or not remorse. Right. They wanted to show their hate. The Net fan was pissed at James Harden. He quit on the Nets. He did too. Like he also quit on the Nets. He quit on this team. He said, "I don't want to be here." And the Nets players took that personal. They came in here. They didn't say. They took it personal. Durant took it personal, and nobody took it more personal than Kyrie Irving. And he put on a clinic on him defensively. He guarded him. He was all over him, and he made
it at the end of the first. Also, that three.
He was just a fucking menace. He wanted to say, "Fuck you, James Harden. I don't need you." And that's that. Say what you want about Kyrie, and there's a lot you can say. When this guy's locked in big spots, he doesn't fold. He's not afraid of the pressure. The Nets,
he's not.
All the net narratives around this team. Kevin Durant's annoying on Twitter. Kyrie Irving, all of this stuff. When they're on the court, they are a different tandem. And as a Net fan, I've only seen this a handful of times. So I get locked in. I get so excited when I see it. I don't get to see this often. I saw it tonight. And you see it, and you get a little taste of it. And you realize when they're together, they can do special things. But it brings me back to this original point. If Kyrie's not on the court full time, they can't win a championship. If he is, they have a chance to do it. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they can't.
That's all you can ask for is hope.
Like I said in last week's episode, I said, all right, if the Nets play the Sixers in the first round and they get through the Sixers, you telling me you don't think the Nets can win a title? No, they have a chance. It all stems back to this. It all stems back to Kyrie. And with 15 games left or whatever it is, there's still so much to be talked about and to be decided about. If he is going to be on the court full time, we still don't have answers. Maybe when you're listening to this, things have changed, but at this point, we don't.
Yeah, I mean, Nets fans, they have every right to be, and don't get me wrong here, it might piss you off a little bit, but but so are Sixers fans. A little hypocritical here because one standpoint, they're saying Harden's a quitter, he's a quitter, we hate him, and then they're mocking Sixers fans for getting mad at Simmons, who quit on them too, and then Nets fans also embrace Dragic, who quit on the Raptors. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of that. Oh, he quit. You just hate guys who leave your team, and you hate guys who bounce on your team and quit on your team, and that's fine. But it's also it's a little weird as an outsider to look at that. You guys are both mad at each other.
Agreed.
Oh, how can you mock at each other like Sixers fan, like the common Nets fan tweet? We'll give you this real quick. The common Nets fan tweet out there and joke is, "Oh, you came to boo Ben Simmons and now you're booing the Sixers." Yeah, of course you came to boo Ben Simmons. Just like when Harden shows up to Brooklyn, you're gonna boo Harden. It's just it's just weird. It's a little weird to me. That's all.
Well, it's weird, but I can't believe that in this argument you put on Goran Dragic, who got booed by the Raptors fans who wanted to leave there. That's a little bit of a
quit on the Raptors too. I mean,
it's a little bit of a
different, but he still did. I mean, he still did.
But we're gonna get who gives?
I'm not comparing the talents. Okay. I mean, it's what happened. Yeah. It's what happened.
Goran Dragic here. I don't blame Sixers fans for booing Ben Simmons. I would do it too. Right. I get that. I'm totally with you on that. But as a Nets fan, as somebody that's with my team, I have to embrace my players. And from your outsider perspective, totally understand that. You're looking
at a little weird. Yeah.
You're seeing that. It's weird. But when you're in the bubble of your team, you fall in love with your team. You've been there with your team. You're going to defend your team. Just like I defended James Harden for a lot of things. Just like I defended, I've still defended Kyrie Irving for a lot of things. That's what you do. but I can't take you saying the Goran Dragic for being a Toronto Raptor. When somebody
quit on the Raptors, he did quit on the Raptors.
20 years from now, when someone's like, all right, can you name, like when Dolan J. Trump's
doing
about
trivia, that. It's
Dolan
what
J.
happened,
Trump's doing his trivia.
Oh, come on.
And he's doing Goran Dragic.
But how about Dragic taking a charge on Embiid, man?
That was
standing
a big play.
in there.
It was a big
That's
play.
like getting like
foul.
like a cornerback trying to tackle Derrick Henry there, and he took the hit, and he just and he took him down, and he got the foul, and that was great.
I told you how much
was,
they needed Goran Dragic to give them stability with the backup point guard spot. It just gives like this, because Kyrie Irving is the two guard on this team. He shouldn't be handling the ball. Kyrie Irving is great at scoring the basketball. Let him score the basketball. Let's give somebody else the ball handling duties. And Goran Dragic has done that. Speak volumes too. Bruce Brown was great on that transition defense. Got a huge lift for Nick's Claxton when Andre Drummond got the 3 fouls. He was fantastic. And the Nets roll. They get a big win for them. And for them, like we talked about this last week, the Nets need wins, man. The Nets need W's. They need to get victory so they can pull into these higher, so they make the playoffs. That's where they are. And like tonight is just a moment where you can raise a glass and you can say, we can do it. We can do it. We have to get it together, but it's in there. It's in our heart. It's possible.
Yeah, that's the mental hurdle tonight, man. The mental statement tonight. It's not about, we won this game, now we're guaranteed to win anything. It's the mental, you want to keep talking trash? Yeah, we're the 8th seed, but guess what? We'll be there. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, and it can mean something. It's not just, talk. It's not just paper champions. It's like, hey, we proved it tonight. You guys gave your best effort, and we punched you in the face, and you folded. And that's how the Nets fans and the Nets players can walk out of that arena, can watch that game with your head held high, and there's nothing anybody could say to knock you down.
It is weird, James Harden in big spots, man. He sucks. Yeah. He just does. Like even the last game versus the Bucks in Game 7, heroic effort from him. I'll love him for that. But he still was 1 for 10 from the field. And there's something
he was diving too, man. He was taking a lot of dives, going to the hoop like more than Harden usually does. Like, he was every little hit. He was
Alex, that's what I've seen for the last. I know. That's what I've seen. That was, and I know he's been awesome for the Sixers. That was his first loss playing, but that's the stuff I've seen where it's like he folds in big moments, and I think Nets fans feel vindicated seeing that. They really do, and it felt good.
You should, man. You're not going to get any hate from me tonight, man. It's just, what can I say? You know what I mean? I was rooting for the Sixers. Trust me. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, what happened, it was just a complete beatdown, start to finish. You came out early. The Sixers crowd was wild, and they missed their first shot, I think, and the Nets hit the first shot, right? I think the Nets hit the first shot to start the game, and it kind of like cooled the crowd down a little bit because they were ready to steam like the Rock.
The Nets always had a little bit of a lead. It was like 8-6, 10-11 to 6, 16-12.
The Sixer fan couldn't explode. They couldn't explode like they wanted to. They were ready. Exactly. One little quick 7-0 run to start the game, and that would have been a different game altogether.
No,
so that was it was a great job by the Nets, man. What can you say? And then the end of the first quarter, you put Kyrie back in with a few seconds left, and then he comes in and gets the ball and hits the 3, and then that was just like, holy shit! It hit 40 at the end of the first, I think, right? And that was like one of those moments that you're like, the Sixers are like, holy shit, we're in for a long ass night here. I still thought the Sixers would come back, just being the NBA.
So did I.
And I was surprised. So did everybody, I guess. It's just
it's an
crazy.
NBA. It's an NBA thing. You have that much talent,
and the Sixers are that good. Yeah, exactly.
That's something Nash will do that. I don't know if this is something Thibs dubs or other coaches do, but a very Nash thing to do is if you're like, you give somebody a rest. If there's 17 seconds left and you get the ball back, he'll put in Durant and Kyrie. He's like,
that's smart.
Put him in for one play.
They practice these crazy shots. They practice these crazy threes and off one leg or, from 40 feet. They practice that stuff. Yeah. And guys like that at that level of talent could hit it. I know Kyrie hit a regular 3, but you know what I'm saying? Like they can hit some crazy shot and it's not that crazy. Like LeBron taking a step back 3 from 35 feet like he used to do when he was younger, it is what it is.
This is where I knew the Nets had him. You go up 21 going into the third. You expect the Sixers to come out in the third quarter and give some effort and energy.
Right.
And the Sixers hit a lot of 3-point shots early in the third quarter. Tobias Harris was hitting 3s. Joel Embiid was hitting 3s. So it hovered around 20, but the Nets offensively were still getting shots. Then the Sixers got a little bit colder. The Nets defense picked up. They got it to 30 with about 6 minutes left. And that's where that point where they took their soul. When you come out of the third quarter and it's a 21-point game, which is more than doable, and you ballooned it to 30. I said, they came out tonight and they said, we are going to fuck you up. They punched him in the face, and James Harden fell on his ass and couldn't do anything about it. And it felt good. It felt really good. It felt nice. It felt nice to be 34 and 33 and to know that there at least is some hope with this team. And tonight I have some hope back.
Yeah, and that's all you wanted from this season, And
then we play the Knicks on Sunday.
Ugh. Yeah, no, I know. And that's going to be, if the Nets lost tonight, like I tweeted it out at Knicks Central. If the Nets lost tonight and the Knicks won tomorrow, and the Knicks are going into Sunday with a 4-game winning streak, and the Nets are reeling and they're close in the play-in tournament, that game Sunday would have had a lot of juice.
Still does in a lot of ways.
If the Knicks win tomorrow and they beat the Grizzlies, it'll have some juice, but I don't know. It's not going to be the same. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like the buzzkill game the last time. You know what I mean? The Nets played the Knicks when the Knicks were just we're dead man walking at that point. You know what I mean? Death row. We're like, what are we doing here? But as of now, and with no RJ in that game either, and now it's like, okay, RJ looks like a star and he keeps going, and Mitchell Robinson is playing well, and you win 3 in a row on the West Coast. I know it's the West, but you beat, those
are good wins.
It doesn't matter. They beat the Clippers, beat the Kings, and you beat who they just beat. I forgot.
Oh man, they just beat rhymes with malice.
The Mavericks. Yeah, the Mavericks. I forgot. See, I'm out of it. I had a long week, but it's just one of those. It's the Knicks where you're feeling kind of good about yourself if you're a Knicks fan right now. I know. There's a lot of people who want to tank. There's a lot of people who want to go for it. There's a lot of people that don't want to win because they want Thibs to get fired. There's a lot of people who don't want Randall to play. There's a lot of different narratives and opinions out there. For me personally, if Thibs, is this winning streak saving Thibs? Is it saving Thibodeau's job? I don't know, but let's see how long it goes first before we talk about that. Number one. Number two, if he changes his ways, then let him stay. The reason why I wanted him to go is because he's playing Taj Gibson big minutes, Alec Burks big minutes, which he's still doing. Fournier, Kemba, starting lineup every game. Like what is happening right now? That's why I was getting, and they kept losing. Like, what are we doing? But at the end of the day, if the Knicks go from the 4th seed to the 12th or the 13th seed, you have to fire the coach. I don't care if you had a few 2 or 3 game winning streaks towards the end of the season. It's just, you can't keep a coach that has fallen off that much. And this team is not that bad on paper. Anybody who says the Knicks are that bad on paper are not paying attention. The Knicks have nothing, some people say, or they have no pieces for the future, some people say. That is bullshit. The Knicks have pieces. The Knicks have young players. The Knicks have talent. They were good last year. That counts for something. These players did it. There was a few extra players that were put in here. It didn't fit. The coach didn't adjust, and now we're here. So I don't want to hear it that the Knicks can't turn it around next year and make the playoffs. I don't want to hear it that Thibs deserves to stay just because he won a few games at the end of the season, but let's let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah, the Knicks are in a weird spot because to me, I'll be honest, I think the Knicks leaving this year in a lot of ways are better than last season. Because to me, if you saw tonight with the Nets, if you're going to win games, you need star players. And if RJ Barrett's going to be a superstar player, to me, his development's way more important than anything else relevant with the Knicks. What he does matters. How he performs matters. And if he, let's say, performs and jumps and becomes a true star, that's even more important than anything else. I get it. You want to feel good in the moment. Trust me, that's as a fan. You want to win games. Course. But in the long run of things, let's say the Knicks were the 8th seed like the Nets, or the 9th seed, and RJ Barrett did not develop, but Evan Fournier was having an all-star season.
Kemba was back. Yeah. Something like that.
It would be fool's gold. It really would be. But
I don't mind winning. I mean, make the playoffs. Sure. Yeah,
but in the long term of the health of the Knicks, RJ Barrett becoming a legitimate NBA all-star star player is more important. It really is. Now, is his, there's degrees of things. And this is a good discussion to have. And if you're a Knicks fan, you should be excited about this discussion. Is RJ Barrett going to become Bradley Beal? An all-star player, takes you to the all-star game. Is RJ Barrett going to become Donovan Mitchell, who's going to take you to second rounds? Is he going to become Kyrie Irving? Whatever. But at least you can get in that idea of conversation and not the other part. And I'll defend the Knicks on this. Like, he's played really well, and he's deserved to have some credit towards his name because of what he's done for the Knicks. And
Thank you.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, this guy tweeting me the other day saying, like, I'm so sick of all this John Morant love. Let's respect RJ Barrett.
John Morant's better. Yes. They can both be great. Yes.
Here's the part about John Morant. This is the one stat about John Morant that is truly remarkable. They're the second seed in the West. You can't give me points. You can't give me assists or rebounds. You can't put a stat on that. If you're the second team in the West, you're doing something right.
And if he's off the team, they're not the second team in the West. They're not in the playoffs if he's off the team.
He's had that kind of impact of a year where, RJ's again, I've defended RJ Barrett. I said a lot of great things about him, but the Knicks are still the 13th seed in the East. That is something where you say, you know what, John Morant, you're in the MVP discussion. Kudos to you. You know what, RJ Barrett? You're improving. You have the potential to be a really good player. You have the potential to be a great player in this league. Both are true. Separate both conversations. They're annoying me, Alex. They're legitimately annoying me.
Yeah. You should be happy tonight, though. Just be happy. Don't worry about it. Don't let RJ Barrett talk get you
Baseball's
down.
back, Alex. I'm happy.
Baseball is back. That's why I'm wearing my Mets shirt, man. It's exciting. It's exciting. Getting 162 in still, apparently probably going to do some doubleheaders. I don't know, but
9-inning doubleheaders
and 9-inning doubleheaders, no runner on second and extra innings. Like it's baseball's back, man. Normal baseball is back. And they added the Steve Cohen tax, which is ridiculous. And he's like, whatever, I'll pay it anyway. It's just, it is what it's exciting, man. I can't wait for baseball. And we have time to talk about that, but it was an exciting day today. But anyway, it's just, it's a little weird with Mitchell Robinson and the Knicks because he gets 2 fouls in I'm forgetting the team versus the Clippers versus the Kings, right? He gets 2 fouls versus the Kings on Monday, right? And 2 quick fouls, like literally in the first minute or minute and a half of the game. It was probably the fastest I've ever seen anybody get 2 fouls in my life, besides Dennis Rodman doing it on purpose. It was crazy, and he comes out of the game and he's never seen again. The entire game. And then there's word that he left the bench and all of a sudden he's sick. He's got an illness. And, then he doesn't show up at shoot around on Wednesday. And I'm calling BS on this illness. And I'm like, Thibs he probably told him he was sitting for a while and he got pissed and left. Like there's something there. And I will go to the grave saying there's something there. Something happened. All of a sudden he's fine. And now he's sick because he got 2 fouls and he something went down there. And then all of a sudden he doesn't show up for Wednesday morning shoot around for the game before the Mavericks. And then he comes out from the Mavericks game, dominates 11-11, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He looks like Mitchell Robinson. He wasn't sick. Like, don't give me shit. Like, 48-hour virus. You never had that before. Yeah. But you know what? After I'm sick, I'm still a little fatigued. He was fine. Came out early. He was dominating. So there's something there. It's just it's a little bit of my conspiracy theory brain, but given the way Mitch has talked all year on social media about wanting to be more in the action on offensively, the way Thibs handles the rotations, the way he doesn't play Mitch as many minutes as maybe he should, how he's been going to Taj and a lot, throughout. There could be some kind of tension there. And honestly, I'm choosing Mitch over Thibs any day of the week. Just put it that way, put it easy. You always choose the young player over the coach, over the 64-year-old coach who's leading a team to the 13th or 14th seed in the East.
I can't believe people that are like, I don't want to pay Mitch Robinson $12 to $13 million a year.
Crazy.
You're the same idiots that said I want to pay Evan Fournier 16.
Or Noel 10 or whatever Noel's getting, right?
If Mitch Robinson's going to get that, you got to give him that. I mean, based on the NBA, you just have to do I'm not saying Mitch Robinson's an offensive option, but defensively, he can make an impact on the Knicks. And if you can give him $12 to $13 million to secure that for 4 to 5 years, of course you have to do it. Come on, you're out of your mind 23. If you don't think you don't have to do it. That's just. Where are you going to spend the money? You're going to give another bad contract to another free agent? No,
they're saying, Sims can be like him. Well, why can't you have Sims and him? Like Sims is getting paid nothing, a second round pick too for 2 or 3 years. It's like, what are we doing? Trade Noel, let Taj retire or be a coach. And then you just go with Sims and Mitch. And then you got that position locked up for the next 4 years. You don't have to think about it. If you trade Mitch or unless you're getting a star, of course, and it's part of a package, you keep RJ and you keep RJ and you keep Mitch. RJ's the only untouchable. You keep Mitch and RJ and you go from there and you build around them. And that's it. And you get rid of Mitch, you're going to be creating a hole by filling a hole. And then you don't have this athletic defensive center that's going to be a Marcus Camby type if he continues to develop, who's going to block shots, will lead the league in defense, hopefully win a defensive player of the year one day. He's just on that trajectory. This guy didn't play college as 1 year. He didn't even play with a team in that 1 year. He was just in a gym working out. It kind of slowed down his growth. He was so raw coming out of college. That's why we dropped to the second round. If they redrafted, he'd be a lottery pick easy. And it's just relax. Let the kid develop. He's a little bit behind. He's not Jared Allen yet. I understand, but he's growing and he's getting better. I know it's not as much better as we hoped, and he can only shoot from 5 feet out.
That's second round
fine.
Pick.
Yeah, that's fine. And he was. Do you know how they got him? Do you know how they got his pick?
I don't remember. I don't know.
The Carmelo Anthony trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So there you go. That was a good pick.
What I think makes this podcast interesting is you have a Knicks fan and you have a Net fan together. And I think that makes it unique. So I'm curious to hear your answer on this.
No.
You've been excited because the Nets haven't been playing well. I get it. I feel you on that. And the Knicks got a little better, although Nets versus Celtics. The Celtics, I think, are really good. Tatum went off versus Brooklyn. I was going to say New Jersey, and they held on. Nets beat the shit out of Charlotte. Nets now just beat the shit out of Philly. What do you think the Nets do this season after you watch this game? In your heart of hearts, what do you think what do you think they do?
What do you mean? What do you like? And what?
What you had been saying on Twitter? I don't, I can't wait for a Knicks-Nets play-in game. After seeing tonight's Nets, what do you think that happens to them
this season? Like how the Nets will be? I think it depends how Simmons comes out, and it depends how they play when he plays. So it's still up in the air. I can't give you a definitive answer.
But your feelings after seeing that performance?
They're at least getting to the second round. It depends who they play in the first round. They play the Bucks in the first round. I don't know, but I think that they're at least getting to the second round, and then let the chips fall where they may.
So you're saying Sixers, Bulls, I guess, Cavs.
Well, the Bulls are banged up. The Bulls aren't as good as they were a couple weeks ago.
Miami. These are
Miami
the teams.
is really good. No, I know. They can be a second round team. I'm just saying it's hard to answer that question when I don't know what Ben Simmons is. I don't know if Kyrie's playing home games. I'm sure he will be soon, but we don't know. None of this is. Yeah.
Did tonight change your feelings on the Nets?
No. Because I know that with Kyrie and Durant together, they're going to be really, really good. And then if we don't know what Ben Simmons is. There's still an unfinished product.
Because I'll be honest, Alex, it changed mine.
Of course, you're excited. Mine. You have every right to be excited tonight. I'm not shitting on that tonight. Man. Don't get me there.
It's hard to see this. You like the squad that was out there at the final 3 minutes was the teams that was starting for the last month.
I know.
So to see this, it's weird, dude. I'm telling you, this is a season I'll never forget. Whatever happens,
any of these seasons with Durant, you're never gonna forget.
But
besides the first one,
Harden's that was the bubble year too.
Yeah,
Harden's there.
So you won't forget. You won't forget that.
Demands a trade.
Yeah.
Curry, Drummond, Simmons come back. This is a really weird year.
That's a great trade, man. If you look at it on paper, sorry to cut you. You got two starters and Ben Simmons for Harden. I mean, Harden is amazing,
and 2 first-round draft picks.
And 2 first-round draft picks back, which you lost in trading him. So you kind of netted a little more, a lot of
one
better.
Of them this year unprotected. So it'll be 20-something.
Yeah. Well, that's it's a player, and Marks has proved he can draft well low in the draft. And it's getting Curry and Drummond, and people shit on Drummond all the time. It's unfair. He is what he is. He's a defensive player. He's rebounding.
Right.
Embiid was dominating him. Yes, but not every team has Embiid. Not every team has Embiid. Drummond's going to be able to hold his own most games, and you're going to need him to play Embiid, but it might just be one of those things where all right, let Embiid get his. Just stop Harden and stop everybody else. Embiid's going to get his 35, 40 points in this game. And let's just let him do that. Let him yell and whatever. And that's it.
Let him yell. That's the part this is the Simmons wild card for me. Tatum, Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Zach LaVine, like Simmons. We don't need you to be the number 2. Like Harden needed help. If you got Kyrie Irving and Durant, the rest will take care of itself with the shooters around him. Ben, we need you to just fuck up the other guy. Can you do that?
Lock him up.
Like that's, dunk, score, but you're not going to be needed to score 20. Like,
well, can he score from 10 feet out? Can he score 7? I mean, like, is he going to do it?
Yeah.
Like you kind of like conveniently forget that this guy was scared to take a 10-foot jump shot in the playoffs.
I thought Reggie
folded like a cheap suit.
I thought Reggie Miller made some great points on this broadcast, and I'm not usually a pro Reggie guy, but he said
he sucks.
He said, look at Irving and Durant tonight. They embraced the bullshit.
Yes.
They said they're going to get booed. They're going to get heckled, and they fucked up the crowd. They were like, you see what these guys do? They're mentally sound here. Embrace this. Don't be scared of it. And I thought that was such a true point for two guys that just in the big moment in big places are tough. Use those as examples.
Yeah,
that was a really good point.
It was, and these guys have had their homecomings. They've
run from their bullshit.
Right. They've been in the situation where they've run from previous teams and they've left and demanded trades, and then they come back for their homecoming and they get booed. And they've also both have been in finals, NBA finals and they've dealt with hostile crowds. Yeah, and hit big shots, both of them. So you know what? They're the perfect people for Ben Simmons to learn.
They really
from.
are.
And it's crazy though, because Ben Simmons is not 20 years
I get
old.
it.
He's not like RJ Barrett. You know what I mean? But you're never too old to learn, though. You know what I mean? You're never
25.
too old. Yeah, I know, right? In NBA years, he's a middle aged.
He's 25. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's a great defensive player.
Right.
He just? It's amazing how much mental this stuff is. I mean,
well, for him it is, yeah.
But for everybody it is. Like we have this conversation and we text each other all the time. And you say this, you get on, Durant and his tweets. But like basketball wise, mentally tough, he is a rock. Nothing can face him.
That's
and same
true.
with Kyrie. I mean, he's hit the biggest shot in Cleveland basketball history.
Ever. Yeah.
Nothing's going to face him. It just won't.
No, and do you think Ben Simmons is going to tweet after this game after he didn't play all game, like Durant did when he didn't play all game?
He tweets much. I don't understand why you get so upset.
You brought it up.
Durant.
You brought it up.
You get so upset with Durant's tweet.
You brought it up. You know why? It's a troll tweet. You know why?
But
because he didn't play and he's talking trash. He didn't play against the Knicks.
But this is why. This is why I talk trash in that game. I think this is why you should embrace Durant's tweets. Mm-hmm. There's nobody I love you like legit. I would save your life. Okay.
Thank you.
But there's a but. I've never met somebody that's more annoying on Twitter. And trolls people and goes after people and is annoying on people.
I only troll people who troll me. I only troll people who troll me.
Not true.
That's so true. True.
Alexander. Not true. I've seen you go after people. Maybe you want to take the scale. So what I don't understand is for somebody that embraces Twitter, for somebody that embraces trolling on Twitter, how do you not understand Durant doing the same thing?
I understand it, but given the situation, there's a time and place to troll someone. Like tonight, if the Nets fans want to troll, go crazy. You got every right to troll. But if a Sixers fan starts trolling you back about something, then that's what it was for Kevin Durant that night, where you didn't play, dude. You didn't play against the Knicks, and you're trashing the Knicks and trying to mock them. And you know what? Promote your podcast, bro. Like, I don't know what you want. Like it's like a weird thing to do to randomly just tweet about that. It was just weird. It was just weird.
But okay, that's weird. But I'm just saying, you tweet all the time and you go after people all the time. I'm just like, you two should have a podcast. It should be Alex and KD, the troll dicks. Like, that to me, that's what it should be, because Durant goes after people and doesn't give a shit. Alex goes after people and doesn't give a shit. I look at the two of you and I go, Alex and Kevin Durant are the same people, minus a few things off the Twitter. And I don't understand why
he has a better jump shot than me. Better jump shot. Yes.
That's true. I don't understand why you dislike him so much and why you get on his Twitter so much when I'm like, I think Alex and Kevin are the same person on Twitter.
I don't think so, man. Because honestly, there's a time and a place to troll. And sometimes your team just loses, or sometimes you have no right to talk. And that was one of those situations that Durant had no right to talk.
You don't troll other teams after wins. You've never trolled another team.
I'm a fan. It's not like I'm a
so that's the difference.
But if I'm exactly. If I'm in a situation,
I want to know the difference.
Let me give you an example. If I'm in a situation where I say, okay, X player, RJ Barrett's going to dominate tonight. I'm telling you, he's going to dominate. He's going to dominate, whatever. And he doesn't, and they lose. I can't then that night be like, oh, RJ Barrett, he was just because of X, Y, Z. That's why it didn't happen. And then you look like pathetic. And then it's you have to have a reason to do it. You can't, unless you're just a pathetic troll on Twitter, which is not what I am, where people who just play characters online to just I saw some Knicks fans cheering for Brooklyn because they want the Knicks to lose and fall in the standings. It was just pathetic kind of shit, and if people don't actually believe the things they're saying. They're just trying to get attention on Twitter, which is something that Kevin Durant does not need to do. You know what I'm saying? He's Kevin Durant and he's got millions of followers. He doesn't need to tweet about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a game where he's not playing. If tonight he goes on Twitter right now, we should check, and tweets about the Sixers and James Harden, he has every right. He should be like, oh, how's that beard doing? You want to get that beard trimmed? Something like that? That'd be great. And I would retweet it. He won't. But
well,
why not? Why not? Because it's not an easy target?
No, because he does. I don't know if he respects
Let's see. We got to see it. He respects Durant. He respects Harden.
I understand what you're saying. I get it. But I just think you two, I'll say this. I'll say another thing. I'm going to give you another compliment while not really giving you a compliment. Why you say no shit?
I don't know, because it sounded weird.
But we had Richard Jefferson on this podcast. And I will say this. You and Richard connected better than I did. Does that bother me? Of course it does.
It got you really upset.
Of course it does. Does it? I've been in therapy for 3 years about it. $5,000 down the drain. Just so, it bothers me. You know why it bothers me? Because you and him are more similar. You know why you argue against each other? Because you're similar. So your tweets with Durant, it's the same stuff. You're like, okay, Durant's a player. I don't want to go here, Alex, but I will. What is this, Laura Ingraham program? Should Kevin Durant shut up and not tweet?
No, I didn't say that. He
wants to tweet. I'm saying that tongue in cheek. My point is, you and him are more similar on Twitter than you realize, and that's why he pisses you off.
Okay, but I already explained it. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but it is what it is.
That's right. That's right.
It's not like you got me. I'm just saying I'm not going to repeat myself.
Not only did I get you, I don't even know what got you means.
I got you. Not only
was his tweet.
He didn't tweet. I was just laughing because at his profile that I never read. I'm me, I do me, and I chill.
Okay. Sounds like you to me.
Does it? Yes, I guess so.
You both live in New York.
Yeah. Listen,
I have no idea where Kevin Durant lives. He could live in Connecticut.
He might. Maybe he lives in Brooklyn. Where do the players usually live? The Nets players.
I know Joe Harris lives in Brooklyn, but I don't know.
Said that. Because Knicks, all the Knicks live in Westchester or in the city because of the Garden. I have no idea. And they practice in Westchester, in Tarrytown. I don't know if you've heard of that. And then
I know Tarrytown.
And then I feel like the Nets players will live in Brooklyn or on Long Island. You know what I mean? That's what I would think. I don't know, because it's just got to be.
I remember
maybe Manhattan also. I don't know.
The older Nets, like from
the early Brooklyn.
Years ago.
Yeah,
like 2-3 years ago.
Culture
they all lived in Brooklyn. The Culture Nets. They all lived in Brooklyn. I don't know about now. I have no idea. I think Kyrie lives in Jersey.
I can see that.
I think it's just crazy
because you think about the traffic that it takes. I know traffic was lighter over the last couple of years, but traffic is the city's back now, man. Like I'm back in the office one day a week in my real job. Like, this isn't my real job for people who are listening. Like, I have a real job. I work, and and my bank is located in I'm not going to say where it is, but like I'm walking down Fifth Avenue and it's the same city. I'm darting in and out of tourists and people, and this is buzzing, and I'm like, whoa, like we're back here. Like, what are people talking about? Anybody who says the city isn't back, they don't live in the city or go to the city. Anybody who says the city is unsafe, they don't live in the city or go to the city. I feel just as unsafe in Manhattan as I've always felt. You want to feel safe? Go to the suburbs. I'm always going to be looking over my shoulder when I'm walking in Manhattan of somebody that's unstable that might be coming towards me. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. That's life in New York City. Your head is always on a swivel. You're always on guard. And if that's too much for you, then don't come here. You know what I mean? And that's it. I just had to get that out, man. And it's just
feel you.
People are like, oh, crime is so bad. Crime has always been bad in New York City, and crime is not as bad as it's always been. It's just it's up from a couple of years ago, but it's kind of the same as what it was 10 years ago. So you know what I mean? It's mind numbing, that kind of stuff. Anyway, sorry, that was my little New York City rant.
The old mayor of New York was de Blasio.
Yes.
Now Mayor Adams. You think Kyrie Irving's playing games in New York?
I think he's going to be soon. If de Blasio was still the mayor, you think? Are you asking?
No,
that?
I was trying to transition.
If de Blasio was still mayor, he's not playing this season. But just to say that's my opinion. But with Adams, I think he's going to play, and I think Sunday versus the Knicks is the perfect time. Somebody's tweeted that out. I can't take credit for that. I forgot who said that. I think it was some Nets fan posted it, saw it on Facebook or something, and then somebody's running with it, or Drummond said it on a podcast or something you sent me, right? Or something
on Danny Green's podcast.
I feel like he might have, like, listening to that, and maybe I'm looking too deeply in it. It sounded like he might have swallowed the word "if," kind of like when you're talking, you kind of like,
And when was it recorded too?
Right.
That
deal. Too. But I feel like Sunday versus the Knicks on national TV is the perfect day to let Kyrie play. And you have this big celebration in New York. We're back. He can come out at center court, sing the national anthem, something, do something. I was going to say, throw out the first pitch, do something, you know what I mean? Like just like take the first shot, throw up the ceremonial opening tip, something. And like, we're back, New York, we're here. This is my city. We have all this swag, and it's like, whatever. But I don't know what's going to happen, man. We'll see. And that's the thing with the Nets. And that's why you can't put your finger on how they're going to be, because you haven't seen it. When is Simmons coming back is the bigger question, because Kyrie will play eventually at home. You have to imagine that. Like right now, I don't understand. There's no masks. There's no vaccine mandates. There's nothing. Like, why is Kyrie not playing? It makes absolutely no sense. And I am rooting for pain for the Nets and their fans. And it doesn't make sense to me that he's not playing. It really makes absolutely no sense.
It's wild, man. This has been a bizarre season.
Yeah.
This has been the most bizarre season I can remember. Really has.
And bouncing back to the Knicks, it's sad that Cam Reddish is done for the year with a separated shoulder. That was really sad. He was finally starting to play and play well. Thibs finally was forced to play him, and he finally. I really think, man, that there was an ultimatum put on him during the All-Star break, because that was their only window to fire him, and said, you're playing the young guys or you're fired, dude. And because out of nowhere, Sims is coming in and is in the rotation fully. McBride is playing more. Reddish is finally playing. All these guys are finally playing. Kemba's shut down. And now they're starting to win some games. And it's just like, maybe Leon Rose is like, see, I told you so, motherfucker. Play these guys. I got them. Play them. Like, what are we doing here? And if Thibs does that, then he can stay. But if the team continues to flounder or just plays 500 ball the rest of the year, and they're the 13th or 14th seed in the East after being the 4th seed, I don't know how you could bring that coach back when he's that old of a coach. If this is like Brad Stevens coming up with the 6th of the Celtics and they take a step back, you give him a chance. He's young. He's not young. Like, what are we doing here? So there's my little Thibs rant, and it sucks. But hopefully the Knicks win tomorrow. Versus the Grizzlies. At the very least, I hope RJ Barrett puts up a big game versus him and just get some respect. It's about time he gets some respect, man.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. Nobody.
It's not. I don't
nationally.
Understand.
Nobody cares about RJ Barrett. Just feels that way.
This is his game log: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His last 7 games, points. Right. I'll give you points, rebounds, and assists. Right. 46 versus the Heat, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. 24 versus the Sixers, 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Then at the Sixers, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. At the Suns, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. At the Clippers, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. At the Kings, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. And at the Mavericks, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. That's pretty damn good. Anybody else has a stretch like that, and you're building statues for him on ESPN at that age. And it's not even just a 7-game stretch.
ESPN.
It's not, or I'm giving you an example on the national scale, online, on anywhere. He gets no respect. And even before that, he was putting up big games, 18, 23, 36, 23. He just keep going and going. This guy has been playing well since the new year, pretty much. And it reminds me of his rookie season, where at the end of the rookie season before the COVID shutdown, he was turning it on and he was really, really getting into a groove. And I really feel like he would have gotten a lot more respect if he would have been able to finish his rookie season. But,
you want to do a little poll question and some Dolan J. Trump sponsored jersey trivia?
Sure. All right. The poll question at Knicks Central once a week, and finally bringing it back, was kind of about the Nets, because there was nothing really Knicks related tonight to talk about. The Nets were the story. Knicks fans, who are you rooting for tonight? Sixers, Nets, and are they playing? That's the. What do you think won, Mike?
Sixers.
Sixers won 48.8%. Are they playing 38.9%? And the Nets 12.4%. We're all Nets fans. I voted for that.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like if you're an NBA fan, and I think Knicks fans are NBA fans, maybe you're wrong.
Watching that game. Everybody watched that
interested.
Game
that's just that's a troll.
Or you're gonna check on it. You're gonna check on it. You're gonna see the beginning.
It's an interesting NBA. There's not many national NBA games that are interesting. You love your team. You love your Knicks. You love your Sixers. You love your Grizzlies. You love your Pels. But when there's a national game, this was an interesting NBA national game. No doubt.
Yeah, no, Harden, it really was.
Simmons return.
The drama, the soap opera, it was like wrestling tonight. It was like pro wrestling tonight. Yeah. But the difference between tonight and pro wrestling is that pro wrestling, you're guaranteed a show. And in the NBA, sometimes you get a dud of a game, but it wasn't a dud for you.
Yeah. Fuck.
So a couple shout out.
Fuck, I'm so glad they beat the shit out of them. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, a couple shout outs at Optimistic Nick. He goes, I'm interested in my parlay. At John_Heller, not sure how a Knicks fan can root for the Nets. Let's see. At Schloss_sports, that's SCHLOSS. I live in Philly, but I'm a Knicks fan from New York. This is a tough question, LOL. I said, when in doubt, go by the standings, because the Knicks can benefit from more in the Nets losing, which is true. And that's it. That's good. That's enough shout outs. Okay, jersey number trivia brought to you by Dolan J. Trump, our favorite president, at Dolan_J_Trump. Buys merch. He gives us a jersey number, one Nick, one Ned, and we have to guess. And a couple clues. Mike, you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Go first. He wore number 50 during the 2009-2010 season, his only year playing for the Knicks.
50. That's tough. Okay.
He played for 9 different teams during his 11-year career, including Knicks, Clippers, Nets, Charlotte, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Boston, Miami, and Sacramento.
Eddie House?
Yep.
Bam.
He went to 2000 draft, Arizona State. He was acquired by the Knicks in exchange for Nate Robinson and made a Kyrie-esque 18 appearance with the team. He won an NBA title in 2008. Which is also something Kyrie has done, something that Dolan's never seen. The kind of crazy thing is, and you can go next, is like Dolan J. Trump's never going to see his basketball team win a title. That's got to be really depressing.
Right. He goes from being a Nets fan to a Knicks fan. And then
I get it. He hates the Nets, as he should, like, because he didn't get a job with them and it bothered him, which he said on the record. So I'm not embarrassed to say it.
No, you're not.
No, he said on the record, I had some issues with them getting a job. They didn't give it to me. I'm bothered by them.
And it was fine. It wasn't just the usual, you went for an interview and didn't get the position.
Yeah,
it was
he said they were
situation. They screwed him some way.
Listen to episode 2. He states that the Nets fucked him. He doesn't like him, so he moved on. But he's never going to see his team win a title. That's got to be really depressing for somebody in his 40s.
Yeah, it's true. That is very true.
I'm ready for my trivia question. Go for it.
A real quick story about Eddie House. I remember when he played for the Knicks the year after the Celtics won the title, he went to the Knicks, and he was a big part of that bench on the Celtics championship team. And he came back, and when he came into the game, the first game in Boston, the fans gave him a standing ovation in Boston for the Celtics. And I vividly remember Clyde saying, like, look at this, man. He must have really had an effect on this city. You know, he's a reserve getting a standing ovation. You know, it was like, for some reason that always stuck in my mind. And I liked Eddie House. He was a good player.
He was a guy I loved him as a net.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
He was a good player. He could score, man.
What happened to
him? The court and shoot. I mean,
yeah.
you know, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know.
He got old and didn't get signed and probably retired. Okay. So this is your Nets guy. Now he wore number 45 during his stint with the Nets during the 2003-2004 season and later wore number 33 in 2006, 2007. So he was there and then had a gap. Again? It sounds like. So number 45 during his first stint with the Nets in 03-04.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I got to think. Okay.
He later wore number 33 in 06-07.
Okay. Nothing.
He played for 9 different organizations during his 13-year career, most notably with Detroit, the Nets, and Sacramento. Tomato, he said.
Okay.
He made his NBA debut in 1998 for the Pistons after going undrafted.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that throws you off. You're a draft guy, so that throws you off. He had his best statistical season with the Nets while making 55 starts in 79 games he appeared in, averaging nearly 10 points and 5 rebounds.
No idea.
He attended the same university as Eric Piatkowski and Tyrone Lue.
No clue.
Nebraska.
Okay. Not sure.
No idea.
So
take a wild guess. So 45 and 33, 2 different stints during a really dark era.
Not really. I mean, the Nets made the second round in 03-04, so I won't call it dark.
Oh, why did I think I'm thinking the 2010s, 03-04 and 06.
03-04. Yeah. I'm honestly, I've used so much brain energy to be happy tonight. I almost don't want to try. Yeah, just because.
Just guess a random net from that era. Guess a random net. You got to give me one guess.
304, 33. I don't know, who is it?
Mikey Moore or Mickey Moore?
Yeah, I know that.
Is it Mikey Moore?
It's Mikey Moore. That was an easy one. Yeah. That was an easy one. He went easy.
He did?
Mikey Moore was solid. He's like, Google Mikey Moore. It'll be like you're watching Nick Claxton.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. But you think Nick Claxton has a better upside than Mikey Moore?
I do. Yes.
You would hope.
I hope so. Claxton played well tonight. He did.
He came in and did well. Was it weird seeing DeAndre Jordan playing?
No.
You're over that.
It's a businessman. You know, like seriously, I was thinking about this the other day. On my other podcast, Mike Delivers, I did a whole thing about a Love Is Blind episode. I had Greg Giannotti on. I used to produce his morning show for CBS. And when I left his morning show, I sat in the office and I was there with my program director, Eric Spitz, and I was like torn up. I was like in a bad mood. And he was like, whatever, it's another show, move on. And at the time I was like, what do you mean? This is great. This is a good show. And then you realize, like, as you do radio shows, shit fucking happens all the time. People move on. There's new shows. Now it's kind of like the NBA. I think your first trade, free agent, whatever. You're like, oh my God, I'm on a different squad. The more you realize the business of it, it's no big deal. Thought about that.
No, it's true. And it's funny because DeAndre Jordan, he has that video of him on the Lakers, a video of him, that play where he took the ball and he was throwing it down the court. He tossed it into like the 10th row and then like he was cut the next day.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, great business. He got out of LA. He got out of Lakers mess, which is
he played okay.
Yeah. He is what he is, man. He's a backup center right now. And that's it. You know, not worth the money the Nets gave him. And that's it.
No.
Yeah.
But he's not on the Nets.
That was a package deal. And you do that 10 times out of 10.
Yes. Right. If I said to you tomorrow, okay, the Knicks are getting Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, and then they're overpaying for,
whoever
aging center, you do it.
Andre Drummond, in 5 years. Yes, exactly. And what's funny is that Dolan J. Trump, he threw you off with that Mikey Moore, because Mikey Moore only played for the Nets 4 games in 03-04.
That's it. Yeah, no, he got me. That was smart. I didn't even know.
So he threw you off.
There.
If he just threw you on the 06-07, you might have.
That's good. No, I would say like Dolan J. Trump on this stuff is really good.
Yes.
I'm not. I totally think he's genius with this stuff because he's a legit Net fan.
He's an NBA fan. He's a big basketball fan. He knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff. What I said before, I mean, because I don't like him, but he's good at his craft. There's no way about that. And honestly, if I was a Knicks fan, I'd buy his shirt because, I'm always looking for good merch.
Yeah, everybody loves Rowan. That's a cool shirt. Like, because RJ Barrett's real name is Rowan.
Nice.
So, anyway,
that's a cool inside thing. If you're a Knicks fan, that's awesome.
Yeah, and also real
cool.
quick, Rokas Jakabitis, whatever his name is, the second round pick for the Knicks this year.
Love him.
Not coming over. Everybody's like, if he was drafted, not everybody. Some people are saying if he was drafted, it'd be a top 10 pick. But he's still not coming over here for another 2 or 3 years because he wants to play. So it's almost like Thibs is not playing any young players is keeping him overseas, which is kind of frustrating. And on top of that, it's like a wasted pick. It's because this wasn't like the end of the second round. This was like one of the first 5 to 7 picks of the second round that they took him, and they could have had Herbert Jones on the Pelicans. He looks like a good player, and they could have had gotten somebody that can actually contribute to the team because this guy might never come over. And that's just frustrating to me, man. So I just wanted to say that. So
can I play for you I just got texted a Kyrie Irving post game cut. Can we play it?
Yeah.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, play it.
But I'm curious what he says.
Yeah, go for it. Can't hear.
I don't know what the lead-in is. Usually, if I was like a sports anchor, you'd be like, "All right, the Nets beat the Sixers." Blah 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 to blah blah blah. Kyrie Irving, who's not available at home games, was versus the Sixers. He had this to say after the game.
Not playing.
I have to hit play.
Were you a producer?
We're all there. We all deal. If you come at Ben, you come at us. If you come at anyone else on our team, you come at all of us. And that's the mentality.
This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode number 107. That's my guy, Kyrie Irving.
Come at us, you come at all of us.
Yeah, I'm glad I played that. Piss off,
I gotta get
everyone.
Yeah, we're all part of a team. Unless I got to get a vaccine, then forget it. Forget you guys.
Man. That's why I always said, though, Alex.
One for all for one. Unless I got to get a shot, that's not dangerous.
You don't trade this guy. He's that good. He's so
all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what?
So the next problem next year, and he doesn't play next year for some reason.
You got to love the defending of your teammates.
Yes.
I mean, he's defending his teammates.
Don't get me there. You guys deserve all the credit tonight. Don't get me there.
There's nowhere to take you.
Congrats to Nets fans. You had a great night, and you deserve to gloat. You deserve to be happy.
No gloating.
So be happy.
No gloating.
Gloat. Be happy.
Respect. There was respect given back.
Yes. And Knicks beat the Grizzlies tomorrow, please. RJ Barrett, have a big game tomorrow, please. Everybody's trying to paint me as a Ja Morant hater now because of these silly tweets that I'm putting out. But they're non-serious. Or one but earlier a couple weeks ago was not trashing RJ Barrett. It was just comparing the two, how RJ Barrett is getting no respect while Ja Morant can miss a dunk and it's all over the internet. That's not trashing Ja Morant. That's just saying he can do anything and he's getting praised because,
we're all there. We all deal. If you come at Ben, you come at us. If you come at anyone else on our team, you come at all of us. And that's the mentality.
Yeah, mentality, unless you get a shot, unless you got to get a vaccine. Right. Okay. Got it.
Oh, man. Well, good luck versus the Grizzlies. I hope you lose.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck Sunday. Hopefully Kyrie plays. One for all for one, right?
Yeah. That's a fair point. Fuck. This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 107. Thank you to Dolan J. Trump. Another great trivia question. You got me on that one. It's good stuff.
Can't get
Nets
me.
winners.
Can't get me.
Knicks on a 3-game winning streak. Nets on a 2-game winning streak. We got 5 fucking wins straight between these two teams.
Baseball's back.
Baseball's back.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm drinking water. Alex, it's good to see you as always. Always enjoy your fake background. I'll talk to you later.
It's real. I swear. See? Okay. Bye.